Hi everyone, welcome to this video from Johanna Basford's Small Victories book, and I decided I really had to do this cute little tortoise. Sorry about the rustling. Need to pop a little piece of paper in behind him. There we go. You can see how the paper, it's slightly cream in the book. I've had a lot of questions about the book in my comments. Firstly, about how everything seems quite close to the spine. You can sort of push it down a bit. You do need to be a little bit careful, but I've been doing that a little bit and it is sitting, as you can see, reasonably flat. When I did my flip through it wasn't, but I've been through the book and just pressed each page open a little bit. Because it's stitched as well as glued, the pages should hopefully all stay in place. So that is that. I've also been asked about the size. It's 6 by 8 inches. And the paper is 160 GSM, and the binding and the paper are the same in the UK and the US editions. Can't speak for the others. Right, let's get on with Tortoise. Using Polychromos, need something with quite a good, can get to quite a good sharp point, so that's why I'm using those today. We're going to start with the actual tortoise itself. I'm looking at my greens, thinking about the body. I might do the shell slightly browner. So I'm thinking I'm going to grab probably my favourite green, the earth green yellowish, to start with. Here it is, earth green yellowish. So you can't see that. I don't know where it comes into focus. My screen is so small that I can't see very well what's in focus and what's not, which is why on my flip through video it kept going out of focus and I didn't notice. So what I'm doing with this one is on these little rounded bits, I'm trying to make them a little bit more intensely coloured on the sort of flatter bit and then a little bit lighter on the rest. Now if you can't cope with doing layering in such a small space, I don't blame you. What you could do, this is something that I had considered doing and then I forgot. I was thinking about it just when I was next door fiddling about. Forgot when I came in. Is you could colour the whole thing in one colour and then you could go over some of these in a slightly different colour, just pop another colour on top. So if you use this, just pop the permanent green on top on some of them just to make it look a little bit different. You know, you could do that, or you could block colour in all of them and just do them all slightly different shades of green. That would take quite a lot of time. I think this is much quicker. And you could just block colour this as well. You don't have to do the, I don't think it shows up. Anyway, because I've picked quite a pale colour for one thing, and I'm not really spending too much time layering. I'm sure if I layered and layered forever it would show up more, but I'm just not. So I was really excited to do my flip through, and I'm hoping that by the time this video goes out that all of you that wanted a copy might have it. It's always a little bit difficult to predict. I know sometimes Amazon doesn't deliver very quickly and people get a little bit annoyed, and it depends what part of the world you're in. Some parts have a later release date and all that sort of thing, but hopefully you've got your copies and you can either colour along or just get some ideas for when you do this page. I know some people didn't want the book. That's fair. Some people said it was too small, and you know, that's fine. For me it's fine. It's not as small as I had feared. There are a few designs that are a little bit teeny, but you know, it is supposed to be smaller, so it's actually bigger than I expected, to be honest. So for me that's a good thing. So that's that. You can see, looking from a distance as you are, you probably can't really see much. I'm hoping when I do these bits on the feet you'll be able to see it a little bit better. So layering up here and then less down here. It's a lot easier to do it in a larger space anyway, which isn't surprising. So hopefully you'll be able to see. But I've had such a busy day today. I've got so much done, which is really good. Lovely sense of achievement. It's a Sunday. It's Sunday the 6th, 5th. Sorry, it's the 5th of November, that's safe. And so I got up. I wasn't intending on getting up early, but I just did. I was awake, so I got up. Still struggling with the hour change that we had last weekend. And so yes, I got up and I had breakfast quickly, did some ironing, put the sheets on to wash, cleaned the bathrooms, dusted the house, did some vacuuming. I got a bit of help, cleaned a bit of the kitchen, did some recycling, tidying up and things like that. Wrote a newsletter, updated my website, uploaded some videos, scheduled some posts. Then after lunch I went to town with my son who needed his glasses altering, and also bought some groceries, came home, did Skype for an hour with my family, and at last I have had time to sit down and record this video. I've had it sitting here ready since yesterday, and yesterday I ran out of voice to do another video, but I've been really excited to do this little chap, and I thought I'd do him with you. Why not? You know, I thought you might enjoy. So there's his little legs, and the other bits, so the top of his head and the back of this leg, back of the tail, I can do in a slightly different colour. Now I was going to sort of just go for the May green, but I think it's a little bit, oh excuse me, too similar. So I'm actually going to use the permanent green olive. I think it works quite well. And Johanna has drawn these back legs with some dots on, indicating they should be a little bit darker because they're further away, so that helps us as well. So there's that one. Now this picture, looking at it, thinking about, you know, does it need a background? Well, yes and no. You could put one in, because obviously there's a lot of blank space. Oops. But there's no, like, you don't have to. I haven't actually decided yet. I'm trying to do this a little bit darker at the bottom, so I'm layering it up a little bit. Yeah, so you don't have to do one. Do what's comfortable for you. I did come up with an idea for a background for the space page, and I'll be doing that one with you, I think. Maybe soon. I don't know. I haven't chosen my next sort of little series. I just wanted to do this slightly bigger page. I knew that I had a little gap in my schedule for a longer video, so I thought I'd do this one. This is messy. Just gonna try and tidy it up a bit. There we go. It's a little bit better. Why it's going down so messy. That's better. I'm going to put a bit of shadow in a few places. So I'm actually going to grab my dark sepia. And I'm going to put a little bit under here. This is like a little flower hat. It's just so cute. And I'm just going to put a bit shadow under there. Like that. And then along the edge of the shell. And then we're going to move on and do the shell next. I'm just thinking along the edge of their leg like that. And then along the tail. There we go. So, shell, I do think I should come in a bit closer. Sorry I wasn't in so close before. There we go, because we don't need to see the whole thing. Now we've got the flowers obviously on top of the shell, got the flowers on the head. We'll do those after. We'll do the shell first. Now I was thinking about maybe greeny browns, but I thought I would start these outside ones in a darker colour, then lighter, because if you think about a turtle or tortoise's shell, these bits are normally rounded, not flat. So I picked a few colours, but it's just a matter of, I've got to find one more. Something lighter. I know. What I would do is I'm going to do a little experiment. I'm going to start with my green gold. and I'm going to do that all over the whole shell, and then I'm going to layer over it. Now we've got to make sure we get into, whoops, all the gaps. And I'm thinking what I'm going to do here, it's easier to do a layer over all of it to start with. It helps me, oops, see where the shell is and where it isn't. I've just coloured over a bit of leaf there. I'm just going to get my eraser. There we go, should be fine once we get some, once we colour that in. I think that will disappear off. So just doing like a rough layer really. I want it to be reasonably even if I can. It was quite interesting. My my niece sent me some of her work to have a look at. She's writing an essay, and because it's in psychology, which I studied at university a very long time ago, she's asking me for help. It's nice to be able to help, but she's doing a really good job, I thought, so that was good. She said she thought was missing something, and I sort of agreed with her, and I gave her a few suggestions for what she could do. One was quite simple and the others were a little bit trickier, so it depends how much time she's got really to do it. I think she says it's due in quite soon, but she's got an extension because she wants to do a good job of it, and she's allowed extensions. She usually gets a bit extra time anyway, so that was fine. Now I've done that sort of roughly. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to go with my next colour. Just picking it, sorry for the slowness. I'm going to use olive green yellowish for the now I'm going to start down here again. I'm going to go over all of it apart from that centre bit there, which I'm going to keep light. Okay, try and make it neat-ish, tidy it up a little bit. Now this is going to be tricky where it's underneath the I'm trying to guess. There's a line there as if it's the edge of that one. I think it might be about here. I think I'm just going to cut over those. I think the petals are probably would be over the top. So yeah, it's a little bit problematic. Just do it best you can. But it's been quite fun looking back at psychology and thinking about it. My sister found it so exciting when her daughters went back to uni that she decided to enroll in a course herself, and she's studying for her masters. So that's interesting. I have been thinking for a long old time about doing a course, but I've actually changed my mind. At the moment I've got a lot going on, but I'm also you can learn things outside of a course, you know, and so there is that. I mean, I guess studying forces you to learn, if that makes sense. You can't not, because you've got this, you know, but yeah, I just haven't quite got, and that I had an idea about something I wanted to study, and then I was thinking about using it in a job and how easy that would be, and it sort of put me off a little bit because I wanted to do sort of health and nutrition, which is totally different to what I studied before the psychology. So I had to firstly get a biology A level, which I think would be quite difficult, to be honest. I also found A levels quite hard, and then I would have to or do a foundation course, and then I could study So I do need at least a year of study first. And then I was thinking doing health and diet, nutrition, that sort of thing is great, but being a dietitian is really hard work unless you're private like a nutritionist and people pay you and come to you, and then that's fine because they want to do it. But I thought in a way it would be more worthwhile working for the NHS, for example, with people who have like medical conditions who need help, but they might not want to be helped. Like I remember like a lot of my mum's family have type 2 diabetes. They go to the dietitian and stuff, and although they would have respect for the dietitian and try, they wouldn't really want to do everything that they said. They're really just after like a magic wand solution, if you know what I mean. They just want her to go, well, you know, just eat chromium green opaque for the outside squares. I think they really just wanted the dietitian to say, well, just eat whatever you like, you'll be absolutely fine, which of course she didn't, because that's not the way it works. And I feel that that would be quite disheartening to sort of put a lot of effort into trying to help people who didn't want to do it. And I actually spoke to my brother-in-law's partner, and she does physiotherapy for people with breathing difficulties, and she has the same problem where some of them are quite rightly scared of doing the physio because they can't breathe properly, so it's frightening, but others of them just aren't happy to sort of put the effort in, and so she struggles too. And yeah, I just don't think I would feel like I was making a difference, whereas actually doing what I'm doing now, I feel like maybe I am making a difference, you know, maybe I'm encouraging people to pick up their pencils and do something that they enjoy or find relaxing, which I think is really important for health, for mental health and physical health. And also just sitting and watching a video, having a rest, that sort of thing. Or also watching something that I try to keep positive rather than looking at, say, the news, things like that, which I think can really bring us down. It can be quite bad on our mental health, I always think. It's not the nicest of things to watch. So yeah, I hope that that it's doing some good somewhere. And that's part of the reason the main reason I do it. I enjoy it, but I hope to think that it helps. Right, we are nearly finished with this bit, and it's looking to me a little bit scruffy, but I'm going to go back to my green gold and I'm going to go over it all to try and brighten and lighten, because it looks a little bit dull. It doesn't really look very green gold to me, so I'm going to try again. So here is my green gold again, and I'm just going to go back over really all of it. I think that's much better. Look at that. I much prefer that to that. So I'm just going to go through all of it. Trying to get in those little gaps as well, and also this bit. And then once we've done this base part, this will probably be my final layer of the sort of main base, we will get in there with a bit of dark sepia, put some shadows in, and hopefully it will begin to take shape a little more. You'll see. There we go. Now I'm trying to wonder what colour to do the florals. Maybe we should do a mix. I'm not very good at doing a mix of colour. I usually stick to a palette. But maybe it's time to start experimenting with a mix of colours. We'll see. Right, now, there we go. I'm going to get the dark sepia again. The first place I want shadow is along this edge here, and I want it to be quite defined. So I'm going to put quite a thick dark line across here. Johanna's actually drawn quite a thick line herself, so we can go over that and just extend it a little bit. There we go. Okay, so already I'm gonna, make that a bit. Already I'm beginning to see a little bit of the 3 dimensions. I'm just going to sharpen my dark sepia now. What I want to do is to go around each one of these with a little tad, and in between. So I'm going over that line and then just around this one. Hopefully adding a little bit of shape to each of these little squares. And just going all the way along. And these aren't too teeny, so it should be okay for you to do. And we're just following Johanna's drawing. So to me this book reminds me a little bit more of Johanna's How to Draw books, and How to Draw Inky Wonderlands, and her 30 Days of Creativity. I think because it's a slightly smaller book, which those are as well, although they're an ivy. You know, it's almost like she sort of does some of her more conventional sized books, and then every so often something a little bit different and experimental, you know. And I think that's good, it keeps it interesting. And I know some people would prefer the more traditional style, but I think it's really good to sort of try new things. I think as a sort of businesswoman, that's what she needs to do, although she's in a sort of fortunate position where, because she's so successful, she can actually probably afford to make a bit of a mistake. But I don't think she will, because I think she knows her customers well enough to know that if she knows what we want. I think a lot of people have been asking for a book like this, and so she knows that. And but I think sometimes she just does something, has an idea on a whim, and just has a go. But yeah, I think a lot of people have been asking for sort of smaller things to colour, so I'm sure it wasn't that risky. And she sort of included pictures of things that people have liked in the past, so I think that's good. I think I'm going to do some more colouring in this book today on my own this evening. I shall be too tired to make another video. Plus there's a bit of TV I want to watch, and I've got a few other, I've still got to make the beds and obviously cook tea. So yeah, still a lot to do. So I think I'm going to do the very first page, maybe. You know, the intro title page, that's what it is called. Whoops. It's going to take a little nosedive. And then also maybe the yeah, there's the inside of the cover perhaps. I'm not sure if I'm going to colour that. Should have a look and a think. Just going around these edges of the, in between each one as well. And hopefully it doesn't look as three-dimensional as I'd hoped. I'm thinking if I maybe extend the bottom bit of shadow, might help. Sorry, I'm not talking, concentrating. Also keeping an eye on the time. I've got to go and cook. I'm hungry, that's why I'm thinking about it. It's 20 to 4. Bit early. I think that's a little bit better. So I'm going to leave that. And we're going to do some florals. So let's pull down. How much can we fit in? Oh, yeah. Just not quite. Let's come out a bit because we've got these ones. There we go. Okay, I think I'm going to do the flowers first and then think about the leaves afterwards, because I'll then know what sort of greens, whether I want to do different greens or the same greens once I've done some colours. Now this one here, I always colour these blue, so I think I should do it differently, don't you? Let's grab the crimson and do this one. Now these are very fine, they always are, however Johanna draws them. So this is the crimson, so I'm just going to block it in the crimson. It's a very, I always find these pretty. I don't know what they are supposed to be, whether they're like, I don't think they're dandelions. No. You know, like the seeds. I don't think they are. So I don't really know what they are. But I always love to colour them and they look really pretty. So I guess it doesn't really matter what they are, does it? There we go. And I might just do that central bit there. Colour. So that's our first floral done, so nothing too difficult there. Now this one and this one are all the same flower, so I'm going to do them all the same colour. I think I'm going to do an orange. I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. So we couldn't get much further away. I think this is the orange glaze. Okay, and what I'm going to do with these is just fade towards the tip of the petal. I'm quite excited to see what Johanna does with her colouring school. I'm thinking, is that starting? Yes, quite soon, on the 13th. I think this video will go out before that. I'm also interested to see, I wasn't going to do tutorials for you that Johanna had done, because I assume that you would want to colour along with Johanna. So, but I don't know what she's going to do yet, so I've already, having already filmed some, it might be the same, but we'll see. See what she does. Okay, and then we've got this one here. This plant looks very different. I've never seen her draw one like that. But then in all of her books there's something a little bit new for us, which is always rather good. I guess everyone develops and changes a little bit. And that's what's happening with her too. I'm going to go for a dark, I think a blue. Yeah, whoops, it jumped out. This is the cobalt blue. I think that's a rather nice one. And I'm going to use it for this one, and this one. This time I'm going to go darker on the tip and lighter towards the stem. I don't know why I've decided to do it that way, but I just have. And yeah, there's 3 of them, isn't there? Just thinking. And actually we've only got one other set of flowers here. I'm wondering about colour. I quite fancy doing something red, so I think I will do it red with a twist. Deep scarlet red. So I'm going to do these darker from the base and lighter to the tip. Like this. And then I was thinking, because I want some yellow, I could do these top bits yellow as if it's part of the flower. I don't know if it's part of the flower or if it's the sort of green part of the stem holding it, but it doesn't really matter, I don't think. Now I was noticing there's some dots under here. I'm sure you've noticed that too. And I was thinking, if you didn't want to do a background, you could just get a gel pen, Posca pen or a fine liner or even a very sharp pencil and just do some dotting, not just there but sort of all around the tortoise, just as a sort of easy background. I don't know, it's just a thought. I'm not going to do that. I was just thinking it's something that you could do if you were feeling a little bit reluctant. This is the dark cadmium yellow. You can't see the word dark. And I'm just going to use this. I'm going to block this in as it's yellow. Like that. I'm thinking we need a few shades of green down here. There's a lot going on. We've got these two ferny type ones. Let's start with those. I'm going to use the hooker's green. Just give it a sharpen. I think I'm going to be saying give it a sharpen every time. So here's our hooker's green. Gosh, it's getting dark. I don't know if it's getting dark or if it's going to rain. You know, it's that one of those sorts of evenings. But it's probably getting dark. It's since you know, we've changed our clocks, it does get dark early. I think America's changed their clocks now as well. Or USA. I don't know whether to call you USA, the US, America. What do you like being called? I never know. We used to always say America when I was little, and now people say the US. I guess America maybe includes other countries? I don't know. I really don't know. I just mean like North America. Anyway. Maybe I include Canada. Maybe I don't know. Anyway. But I don't know. I think Australia has stopped changing their clocks. Or some states do and some don't. So I understand. I've got an aunt living in Western Australia, and I think she said they don't do it. I'm trying to remember because she chats to my dad and her brother, and they go onto Skype and chat. So they have to get the time when the clocks change by an hour, they have to get it sorted out between them. You know, make sure they're doing it right. I like that dark colour. I think that rather frames the outside of our group. So I want to keep the rest maybe a little bit lighter. So I think I'm going to grab this as the permanent green. And I'm going to use it for these three here. And I'm just going to use the same colour for each of them, just fading it towards the tip a little bit. Just keeping it nice and straightforward. Now with these, I normally do that shape of leaf, which we get fairly often with Johanna, in a dark colour. But because we're on top of the shell, I'm thinking I might actually do them light. So just for a change, it'll be a bit different for me. Now I'm always a little bit confused as to what to do with this bit where the leaf's turned over. I'm going to put a little line of shadow underneath it like that, and then keep it very similar to colour to the leaf itself. Okay, I'm going to grab a light colour as I'm going to do both of these in a light. So this is actually light green. Let's push you up just a tad so you can see. Now I have coloured over this a little bit, so it's a bit messy, but I hope it'll be okay. You can of course do it darker if you like to do them darker like I do, but I just think they might not show up over the shell, and particularly don't pick olive greens because they really wouldn't show up over that olivey coloured shell. I mean, a sort of phthalo green or something would show up. I'm just not too sure if it would match very well, which is why I've sort of avoided it. Let's do that bit and that bit. So I've just blocked those in and they stand out now. I'm just going to pull down a bit. I think you can see anyway. Now where are we going? I'm going here. I want something quite different to these two, but not too dark. I think I'm going to go for this green. This is the earth green, so it's quite a grey green. And I'm going to make the tips more intense and do a little bit less as we go up. It's quite nice doing lots of different colours actually. I would often try and simplify things and keep them the same colours, but we've done that with our tortoise. Tortoise? Tortoise. What'd you say? Turtle? I was always brought up to say tortoise, but I don't know. Now these other larger ones. Maybe the emerald green might be a good way to go. Let's try that. My stomach going with these, because they're long, I'm going to make them more intense at the bottom and at the top, and try and just sort of fade them up a little bit in the middle to make them look like they're catching the light there. I'm going to stop there and then bring it down from the top. I'm not going to leave any white, but just a bit lighter in the middle, just for something a little bit different. It might work with the way the leaf is turned as well. That's just a coincidence, but there we go. I had a completely different plan for this weekend. I was actually going to do a Chris Cheng picture from Magical Jungle. I planned the page and everything, I think, almost. And then this book arrived. So that was the end of that. I was busy making little videos for you and just having the most fun. So that was good. Okay. Now, these three are the same plant. We've coloured them the same. They're going to have the same colour stems. I think I'm going to grab this one. This is the grass green. It's quite a light one again. So I am going to just block it in and colour over and over a little bit so that it shows up because of it being a paler colour. Try and keep that intensity up a little bit. Oh, my stomach is gurgling. I don't know what, I think it's because I just had a coffee. There we go. Now we have, I'm grabbing this green, I think this is the leaf green, and I'm going to do these leaves here. No wonder, it's called leaf green. What else am I going to colour green? Right, we have, yeah, I'm going to use the May green. I'm just going to give it a sharpen because I'm running out of greens. So this is the May green, and I'm going to do it on these, under here. Can you see? It's just a very small area there. And then we've got these two left. And I'm going to use, whoops, the juniper green. Okay. I think I'm going to try and fade towards the tip a little bit. There we go. If you don't like that yellow, you could have done those in the juniper green. But it's a bit late now, isn't it? Right, we've got his head. Here's her, what do you reckon? Doesn't matter, does it? I think it's a little boy with lots of florals. I like that idea. Right, I am going to use the pine green. We haven't used it yet. Let's just use all the greens. Well, not quite. I don't think the light phthalo green's going to work. Anyway, I'm going to use the pine green for these leaves that make up the sort of hat, because it will look significantly different to the green of Tortoise's face. So I've come in close. It's probably now going blurred. It's probably focusing on my hand. never mind. So I'm trying to just put down less layers towards the base of these leaves. It's got its little eyes shut. There we go. Now I think I'm looking at the flowers. I've got these two I think are the same and these two are different. So we'll use a few different colours to what we've used over here. So you can't see what I'm waving at, but you know what I mean. So I'm grabbing the violet first. And I am going to do this one. I'm going to try and make it intense by layering it up a bit because the violet can be a little bit pale. There we go, and the same on this one. And the centre, should we go dark? I think we'll go mauve in the middle. Sorry for those of you that like yellow middles, do it yellow if you want. I quite like a dark middle sometimes. Now, where should we go now? I think we need a paler pink. So let's go for the Pink Madder Lake. Can you see that? And do this little one here, including the centre, all pink. There we go. And then this last one I'm going to do a yellow middle. I can hear you cheering, those of you that like yellow. This is 108, which is, I think it's the, yes, dark cadmium yellow. Did I tell you the other one I used was dark cadmium yellow? It was 107, that's just cadmium yellow. Never mind, just use a slightly different one. I'm sorry I told you wrong. And the little petals in, I want to go red again. So, should we use the alizarin crimson? So sharpen. There he is. Now again, we're just going to block it in. Now we've got lovely little berries, but I love colouring berries, but I can't do much with these apart from just block them in. Quite small. They look a bit silly if they were big. What do we need? Do we need orange? Do we need blue? Not going to get blueberries, are we? So let's do orange. This is the 115. It's the dark cadmium orange. Now we've got two sets of leaves, this set and then this set. I have got a chrome oxide green, getting small. I can do this one. I'm just going to block them in. And then the other one, I want something slightly lighter. I'm actually going to use the phthalo green. There we go. And now we have a butterfly. I'm just going to move some of my pencils out of the way so I can move my book. I've used a lot. There we go. Oops. So we have a butterfly here. Now I rather like a turquoisey colour. I'm going to use a cobalt green. Oops. I think that's what it's called. This colour. And just block out those wings. Sometimes I will do an orange butterfly, but we've got 3 orange flowers, so do something different. And then the body in a grey. What should we use? I think or use something quite dark. This is the Cold Grey 6, so that it really shows up, because it's only little. Can't do much but block it in. There we go. Right, now I do have an idea for a background. If you wish, you could just leave it completely without, but oops, trying to get the whole page in shot and move some of my pencils out of the way. There we go. Right, I'm going to do some pastel background. I'm just going to grab my cloud stencil. I'm going to do some clouds, a bit of cloud in the sky, and then a little bit of green at the bottom, I think. So these are my pastels, just the Mungyo ones that I use. Hang on a minute. Let's just move it across that way and put them here so you can see them. Look at the whole page in shot as well. There we go. So this is the cloud stencil. It has a thinner edge with, let's put it over there, you can see, with some smaller dots, and this is more widely spread. So I think this one might work better on this slightly more detailed picture. So I sort of angle it across the page and do some. We need a little bit of something at the bottom that isn't cloud, because I don't want him to be flying in the air. He could, but it's not the look I'm going for. So I'm going to grab a sponge. There we go. A cotton makeup cloth. I've actually just bought a new pack of these, so I've got one in the wash and one on the go, and these are washed. I've washed them quite a lot of times. You can see they're a bit stained, they're okay. I find these are much easier to work with once they've been washed. I'm going to use this sort of mid green. I don't want it to be too dark, and I'm just going to swoosh on a bit of ground. Like he's on the grass. He, that's right, I did establish. You can see I'm not getting very near the edge. You can just hold the page down and try and push in just a little bit more if you want to, but you're never going to get right into that central part. So I'm just I want a fairly intense amount, just so you can see that I've made the effort. There we go. So he looks like he's actually not just floating. My lamp is a bit bright, it's quite hard to see. There is a fair bit of green down there, sitting there. Right, we're going to do some sky. So I'm going to lay this across the corner. It's probably difficult for you to see where the book ends and the piece of paper behind begins, but I think you'll be okay. So I'm going to start with this blue. I think we might just keep it with the blue sky. So you just put it along the edge of the stencil like that, and then I tend to go up and sort of fade it up into the space up there. That's a bit messy. Let's try again. Put a bit more down. The good thing with pastel is you can just keep layering it up until you're happy. There we go. So there is our first bit of cloud. It's probably still not that easy for you to see. Now we'll do a bit in the other direction. I usually try and change the angle a little bit of the stencil so that it looks a little bit more natural. Now I was gifted this cloud stencil, so I'm not sure where to get them. Now my next one's going to sort of go, I think I'll use the big one and go there. Now here we're getting right to the flowers. I've got to go over the top of them because they're in my way. But the key thing is to try not to go too much over the yellow. Go over yellow, it goes green, blue. So I just sort of fade it up a bit, like that. And then one sort of joining there, I think. I can hear a noise. I wondered if it was thunder, but I think it's just a lorry. noisy around here. There we go. Now I'm going to go back to my slightly smaller side and do a bit in here. You can do lighter and darker bits. Sometimes I do pink and yellow clouds, you know, not always the same colour. This one I'm going to go in that direction, so it's sort of pointing downwards. Like that. And then you just brush it like that. And I'm also going to now do a bit of pink, I think. I quite like, it's a little bit too, I don't know, I'm not happy with it. I'm going to put some pink on. So I'm going to still use this stencil though, just in different positions, and put a bit of pink in the sky. And it will mix with some of the blue and go purple in places. Through there. I'm just sort of trying to put it a bit in the gaps, but also sometimes mixing it with what's there so it doesn't look too odd. Do a bit of this end going down there. A little bit through there, I think, right through the middle. A little bit at the bottom, maybe here. And then, yeah, maybe there. A little bit. Okay. So there we have a mix of clouds. So I think I'm going to leave that there. That's just an idea for you. You might prefer to just do a blue all over, or just smudge some blue areas and leave some plain. If you don't have a stencil, you can just do a few circles of blue, or do some sort of imagine where the cloud might be and sort of do blue around it and leave a white patch or something like that. You know, there are different ways of doing it. But there we go. There is our Mr. Tortoise. Let's move the paper away so you can see the full page. There we go. So that is him done. So that was fun. I really enjoyed that. So thank you for watching, sticking with me, and maybe colouring along. I'm not sure if you did. But yeah, I hope that was good. I hope you enjoyed it as much as me, but thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I hope you have a really super day, and I've used a lot of pencils. Just want to say they will be listed in the description, so you can go and have a look, because there's loads. If you sort of lost track, they'll be listed there, so you can find them. But yeah, thank you so much. Have a super day, and happy colouring.